Good day, dear students. Welcome once again to St. Patrick's College Oka e-learning program. I still remain your mathematics teacher, Mr. Ndubisi from. I wish to use this medium to interact with you on the wide range of topics that we have for the third term. We hope to achieve something great towards the end of this lesson. Let's begin with the first topic here, that is polygon. Polygon is a closed figure with straight edges. Closed figure with straight edges. We have some of the examples of polygons here. Polygon with 3 sides is called triangle. Polygon with 4 sides is called quadrilateral. We have different kinds of quadrilateral. We have a square, we have rectangle, parallelogram. In as much as the shape is 4-sided, it is called what? A quadrilateral. The one with 5 sides, pentagon, 6 sides, hexagon, 7 sides, heptagon, 8 sides, octagon, 9 sides, nonagon, 10 sides, decagon. These are the various kinds of polygons with the number of sides. Now let's begin again with the perimeter, which is also a polygon. Perimeter of plane shapes. Perimeter of any given shape is the distance around that particular shape. Sometimes people do mistaken perimeter to an area. When they are asked to find the perimeter of a given shape, they begin to look for the area. Both of them are quite different. So perimeter is the distance round a given shape, whereas area is the amount of space occupied by that particular shape. Alright, now I hope it's quite clear this time around. The perimeter of a given shape is the distance around the shape. Now let's take for instance the perimeter of a rectangle. It is the distance around this rectangle that we have here that gives us the perimeter of this particular shape, not the inside. We are not interested in this side this time around because we are talking about the perimeter, distance around the shape. That is to say, we begin here, we add all the sides of this shape. That gives us the perimeter of this shape. So this side is the length. This side should as well be the length. This side is width, and this side is also width, because opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. The formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle is length plus width plus width. But the standard formula for calculating it, we can use this formula to get the answer. But the standard formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 bracket length plus width. That is the standard formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle. Now let's take the first example. Find the perimeter of the shape below. You can see in this shape we have the length as 5. We have the width as 4. Now let's look at the solution to this question. The solution to the question. Here we have it. The length is 5, the width is 4. Here we have the length 5, the width 4 centimeter, and the formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle is perimeter equal to 2 bracket length plus width. Now let's now substitute the values we have here inside this formula. So we have our perimeter, we have our equal sign, bring down our 2, then brackets. The length is given as 5. So in place of the length we write 5 plus the width is given as 4. In place of the width we write what? 4. Now let's evaluate it further. Here we have the perimeter, we have our equal sign, then 2. The bracket stands for multiplication here. Then 5 plus 4 will give us 9. Then we can now summarize the answer to be 2 times 9, which will give us what? 18 centimeter. That is the formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle, like this very one we have here. Then for the other side of it, we can as well give another alternative on how to find the perimeter of this particular shape. Since this place is 5 centimeter, which is the length, what do you think this place will be? That should as well be what? 5 centimeter, because opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. Then if this side is 4, what will this side be? This side will as well be 4, because opposite sides are equal. So now to find the perimeter of this shape is to calculate by addition all the sides of this shape. That's distance around the shape, by saying 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4. That's exactly what we have here, as we have it as perimeter equal to length plus width plus width. In place, look at our perimeter is equals to, then length is 5 plus length is as well 5, width 4 and 4 here. Then you add them together. When you add all of these values, they will give us the same answer as the first one, because the perimeter of a rectangle is the distance around that particular rectangle. That gives us the perimeter of this particular shape. So during the exam, I don't expect you to use all. Make use of one method here. If you like to use this method, maybe you understand this one quite better, you can make use of it, or this particular one, you make use of it. But don't use the two at the same time. Alright, so now let's move to perimeter of a square. A square is a polygon with 4 sides equal. All the 4 sides are equal in length. That is why I label each of the sides length, 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 length. Alright, so the perimeter of a square will not be distance around this square. That is to say length plus length plus length plus length. That's exactly what I have here. I can narrow it down by saying how many lengths do we have here? To say 4 lengths. So 4L. That is the standard formula for calculating the perimeter of a square. So the perimeter of a square is equal to 4 times length, just like I have it here. Alright, so let's take some examples. This is an example. So we have a square here. All sides are equal. Having the indicator, line indicator here, which signals that all sides are equal. Meaning that if this place is 8.2 meters, this place should also be what? 8.2 meters. Likewise this side and this side, because all sides are equal. Then to find the perimeter of a square, the length is being given to us as 8.2 meters. And we already know that the perimeter of a square is equal to 4 lengths, or 4 times length. Then perimeter of a square equal to, we already have 4 there in the formula, times, then the length is being given to us as 8.2. Then when you multiply both together, you have 32.8 meters. That is 4 times 2 will give us 8 point. 4 times 8 will give us 32. That gives us 32.8 meters. Or you make use of this formula. Remember, we already said that the perimeter of a given shape is the distance around that shape. Meaning that as we have 8.2 here, this place is also 8.2, this place is also 8.2, this place is also 8.2, because all sides of a square are equal. Then adding the distance around this shape gives us the perimeter of this particular square. Meaning that we now have it as 8.2 plus 8.2 plus 8.2 plus 8.2. That gives us the same answer as 32.8 meters. Now let's move to the next one. Here we have the perimeter of a circle. Another name, just like we learned in our previous lesson, another name for the perimeter of a circle is the circumference of the circle. They can interchangeably make use of these terms whenever they want to ask questions. They can ask you to find the circumference of a circle, or they put it this way, find the perimeter of a circle. And when you are asked to do that, the same formula still applies. So for the circle that a radius is being given, remember that the radius of a circle is the distance from the center of the circle to any part of the circumference. It's called the radius of that particular circle. When radius is given in the question and you are talking about the perimeter or the circumference of a circle, the formula you are to use, remember what I said, when radius is given in that question, the formula to use is 2 pi r, because radius is given. But if diameter is given, like in the case of number 2 question, then the formula you have to use when diameter is given, if you are looking for the perimeter or the circumference of the circle, is pi times diameter. That is the formula when diameter is given. Then here we have a semicircle. The formula for finding the area of a semicircle, remember that semicircle means half a circle. Half a circle, meaning the semicircle will take half of the formula of that of complete circle. So now we have a perimeter, the diameter here, that's ranging from this side to this very side here. That is 14 meters. So if I'm to find the perimeter or the circumference of this semicircle, the formula to use, since diameter is given, remember when diameter is given in a complete circle, that's pi times diameter. But that of semicircle, half a circle, the formula will now be half pi times diameter. That is the formula we are to use. So the formula is circumference is equal to 1 over 2 times pi times diameter. That is for the semicircle. Now let's take a look at the example here. Example number 1. The circle, we are being given the radius this time around. So which formula are we to use to find the circumference or the perimeter of the circle? Remember, C stands for circumference. So the formula is 2 pi r, meaning 2 times pi times radius. Alright, so let's now apply the value that we are being given in the question. We are being given radius of the circle, that is 7 meters. Now let's substitute the value inside of this formula. We have our circumference equal to 2. That's a 2 over 1. 2 over 1 and 2, they mean the same thing, because 2 divided by 1 will give us what? 2. Alright, then times pi, and pi is 22 over 7. Yes, times the radius, which is what? 7 over 1. Alright, so we can now cancel 7, cancel 7. We are left with 2 times 22, and 2 times 22 will give us what? 44 as our answer. Now moving to the other side, diameter is being given to us as 20 centimeter here, and when diameter is given in a circle, to find the circumference of that circle or the perimeter of that circle, you make use of the formula pi times diameter. Now let's substitute the value here. In place of pi, we write 22 over 7 times, in place of diameter, we write 20 over 1. Alright, 20 over 1, you already know, is something as 20. Now, when you look at the 7 here, 7 cannot divide any number we have at the numerator. So what do? We times through. We time the ones we have up and also the ones we have down. 22 times 20 will give us 440 over 7 times 1 will give us 7. Now we can now divide. 7 divide itself will give us 1. Then 7 divide 44 will give us 6 remainder 2. 6 remainder 2, because 7 times 6 will give us 42. So when 7 divide 44, it will give us 6 remainder 2. So that 2 that remains, you place 6 in front of the 0 here. That makes it to become what? 20. So 7 divide 20 will give us 2 remainder 6. 2 remainder 6. We write the remainder, then we add 0 to the remainder, and since the numbers has finished, we place our point. Then 7 divides 60, that will give us 8 remainder 4. 8 remainder 4. That's when you say 7 divide 60, it will give us 8 remainder 4, because 7 times 8 will give us 56. So what will remain there will be what? 4. So we write the remainder 4. Write the remainder 4, then add 0 to that remainder. When 0 is being added to the remainder, we divide again, continue to divide. 7 divide 40, that will give us 5 remainder 5. And when we write the remainder, that will become 50 as we add 0 to it. 7 divide 50, that will give us 7 remainder 1. So that's 7 approximately. We approximate the 5 we get when we use 7 to divide 40, approximately to become 6 here. Then the answer we now have will be 62.86 centimeter. That is a circumference. Let's take it again. 440 divided by 7. 7 divided itself 1. 7 divided 44 will give us 6 remainder 4. Remainder 2, as the case may be. And we place that 2 in front of the 0 we have here. Then 7 divided 20 will give us 2 remainder 6. Okay. Then we proceed, because the numbers has finished, we have to place our decimal point. Then 7 divides 60 will give us 8 remainder 4. Then we divide by 7 again. 7 divide 40 will give us what? 5 remainder 5. Then 7 divide 50 will give us 7 remainder 1. So approximately it becomes 62.86 centimeter. That's for that one. Then for semicircle here, diameter is being given as 14 meters, and the formula for calculating the circumference of a semicircle is half pi times diameter. You will have half here, that's 1 over 2 times. In place of pi, we have 22 over 7 times. Diameter is being given to us as 14 over 1. Then 2 can divide 22. 2 divide 22 will give us 11. That will give us 11. Then 7 can divide 14. 7 divide 7, 1. 7 divide 14 will give us 2. Alright, so we now have left 11 times 2. 11 times 2, that will give us what? 22. To give us 22 as our final answer. 22. That is the answer for this particular one. Remember, whenever you are asked to find the perimeter of a semicircle, is always half of the formula of a complete circle. Now let's move on to the next outline. Here we have a mixed shape. Find the perimeter of the shape below. Alright, so for us to get the perimeter of this particular shape, we have to find the sides that are not given. But recall that we said that the perimeter of any given shape is the distance around that shape. That is to say, we add all the sides of that shape. That gives us the perimeter of that particular shape. Then for this one now, we have to say A plus B plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FA. Let's start it again. Remember, we are starting from A. AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FA. You stop where you started. But what we need to find here is to find the sides that are not given. Once we can find this side and this side, then we add everything we have there. That gives us the perimeter of this particular shape. Now, how do we do that? Just imagine this shape as being complete. Imagine this shape as being complete. Okay, let's assume the shape used to be complete and they cut out something here. We want to know what this place is. Alright, so for us to get that, remember that this one now is one big rectangle. Here, from here to here, we have it as 7. From here to here, we should also be what? 7, because opposite sides of a rectangle are equal. This one is being given complete as from here to here, 7. But this one is not being given complete because we have some portion of it, A, B, to be 3 centimeter. Remaining something here for it to become 7. So since we say that opposite sides are equal, this one is 7. We have a portion of this one to be 3. So how many is remaining for it to become 7? 4. That will be 4. So that means this place should be what? 4. So if this place is 4, then that is to say this place should as well be 4. Because the distance from B all the way to this place is the same as from here to this particular point. Alright, so that makes it easier for us to get this particular one. So what you should always do, use the complete side to get the one that is not complete by adding a number that will equal it to the other side of it. Meaning that as we have 7 here, this side should also be what? 7. Now you can now see that 3 plus 4 will give us what? 7. Alright, so we have gotten this side. Now let's use the same method to get this side that is not given, this particular portion that is not given. Then when you look at it from the top here down to the bottom here, we have it as what? 5. That is to say AF is 5. What about B somewhere here? What will it be? That should also be 5, because considering this particular rectangle here, opposite sides are equal, meaning that from here to here being 5, then from here to this side should also be what? 5. Alright, but one thing we can find out here is that some portion of it is given, which is from here to this place, and is being given to us as 3. So something is remaining from here to this place, okay, which is something as from here to this place, which we are looking for. So from here to here is 5. Therefore, from here to here should also be what? 5. But we are being given from here to here, which is the same thing as from here to here, which is what? 3. So this place is 3. So what do we add to this 3 so that it will equal 5 as we have it at this side? That number should be what? 2. 2. Alright, so you can see we have gotten all the sides, so that when you say this opposite side is equal to this other side of it, okay, so opposite sides are equal. This is 5. This side should also be what? 5. We are being given from here to here as 3, just like you have it here. Then that is to say the completeness of it will be this one. So 3 plus 2 will give us 5, so that opposite sides will be what? Equal. You can see we have found all the 2 sides that are remaining here. That means this side will be 4 and this side will be what? 2. Let's clear the screen. Alright, so we have gotten this place as 4. Then we also have this place as what? 2. We have it as 2. Now for us to find the perimeter of this shape is for us to find the distance around the whole of this shape. distance around the whole of this shape. That gives us the answer to the question. That is to say, we start from here, AB plus BC plus CD plus DE plus EF plus FA. That gives us the answer to this particular question. Remember that you don't add the inner part. You don't add the inner part. We are more interested on the distance around the shape, which is the definition of perimeter. Now let's bring down the numbers that represents this particular sides. AB is 3 plus BC 3 plus CD 4 plus DE, which is DE, which is 2, as we have it here, EF 7, then FA 5. So when we add all together, that gives us what? 24 centimeter as the answer. We actually have a shortcut to solving this, but I wouldn't want you to always go for shortcut. I want us to always try to get to know even the one that seems to be, the one you have to use your mind and brain to work it out. That's exactly what I want you to be practicing. But now let me just give you the shortcut to solving this. You can see the complete side of this shape is 5 here. Another side that is complete is 7. These other sides are not complete because something is being cut off from there. All you need to do, you just add the two sides that are complete. That will be 5 plus 7. Okay, 5 plus 7 with times 2 to it. Just add the two sides that are given if you have this kind of a shape and multiply it by 2. And when we have it this way, 5 plus 7 will give us 12, right? That will be 12. Okay, times 2. Okay, now you can see it quite clearly now. So 12 times 2, that will give us what? 24 as the answer. To give us 24 as the answer. That still provides the same answer as what we have here. So that's just the shortcut to solving this particular one. Now let's move on to word problems. Word problems on perimeter. This is quite necessary. Very, very important because we are looking forward to meeting this kind of question in the exam. So find the length of a rectangle whose perimeter and width are 32 centimeter and 4 centimeter respectively. That is to say, in this question we are to find the length, whereby the perimeter is being given to us as 32 centimeter and the width is being given to us as what? 4 centimeter. We can actually find the length of that particular shape. We'll see it going down there. Then number 2, given that the perimeter of a square is 36 meters, find the length. Number 3, calculate the perimeter of a regular hexagon whose side is what? 3 centimeters. Let's start with the first one. The perimeter is given to us as 32 centimeter. The width is given to us as 4 centimeter. Then the formula for calculating, because what will give you an idea to the particular formula to use in a particular question like this is to look out for the quantity that is mentioned. Here we are talking about perimeter. Perimeter of what? Rectangle, because the shape is being mentioned. That is to say, we are to use the formula for calculating the perimeter of a rectangle. That will give you a clue of the formula to use in solving this. So perimeter is given at 32 centimeter, width is given as 4 centimeter. Then perimeter for finding a rectangle is 2 bracket length plus width. That's the perimeter of a rectangle. That's the perimeter is equal to 2 bracket length plus width. Now let's substitute the values we have inside the formula. Then perimeter is being given to us as 32. That's why in place of this perimeter we write 32 equal to, we have our 2 already, then bracket. In place of our length, what do we write there? In place of our length, nothing is given as length because length is what we are looking for. So you write the length plus, then the width is being given to us as 4. You write 4. So we can now clear the bracket. Let me repeat it again. For the perimeter is given to us as 32. In place of this perimeter, we write 32 equal to 2 is already here. Bracket length is what we are looking for. So you write it, length plus the width is being given to us as 4. So in place of the width, we write 4. Then we can now clear the bracket. 32 is equal to 2 times L. We give us 2L plus 2 times 4. That will give us 8. Collect like terms. That means 8. We move to the other side. And it's plus here. When it moves to the other side, it becomes what? Minus. So 32 minus 8 is equal to 2L. 32 minus 8 will give us 24 equal to 2L. Then the next thing for us to do, divide both sides by the coefficients of L. The coefficients of L here is what? 2. So 2L over 2 is equal to 24 over 2. So 2 will cancel out 2. We are left with length. Okay, then 24 divided by 2, that will give us what? 12 as our answer. Alright, so the second one, perimeter is being given to us. Perimeter of a square is given at 36 meters. The length is what we are asked to find. So the perimeter of a square is given as what? 36 meters. Then we are now asked to find the length of that particular shape. Then for us to do that, we have to use the perimeter, the formula for finding the perimeter of a square. And for us to do that, the length is what we're looking for. The perimeter, the formula is 4 times length. 4 times length, if you can still recall. Then perimeter is given to us at 36. So in place of perimeter, I write 36 equal to 4 times length is what we're looking for. And 4 times L will give us what? 4L. Divide both sides by the coefficients of L. And the coefficients of L here is 4. So when you divide both sides by the coefficients of L, which is 4, this side divided by 4 equal to 36 divided by 4. So 4 will cancel out 4. We are left with length is equal to 36 divided by 4. That will give us 9 meters as our answer. Then the final one we have here, the perimeter of a regular hexagon. Whenever you hear regular hexagon, it means that each of the sides are equal. Each of the sides are equal to one another. So we are being given one side of the length, which is 3 centimeters, meaning that each of the sides are 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters, because they are regular hexagon. And hexagon is a polygon with 6 sides. So this one is 3 centimeters. Then this side should as well be what? 3 centimeters. This side should as well be what? 3 centimeters. And this side, likewise, this side 3 centimeters. We also have this side as well, 3 centimeters. Then this one is 3 centimeters as well. To all the sides, each of the sides 3 centimeters, because it is a regular hexagon. Now, the formula for calculating the perimeter of a regular hexagon. How many sides does it have? 6. Then that's 6 times length. Okay, that is the standard formula for calculating the perimeter of a regular hexagon. Then as for this particular question, the answer will now be 6 from our formula. That is the perimeter. Perimeter is equal to 6 from our formula. This is the 6 times. Then the length, what is being given to us as the length is what? 3. The length is 3. So when we multiply 6 to 3, that will give us what? 18 centimeters as the answer. 18 centimeters. Alright, so that's the answer to this particular question as the perimeter of a regular hexagon. Or you can as well add all the sides. 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 3, 12, 12 plus 3, 15, 15 plus 3, 18. That gives you the same answer. Now let's quickly move to the next one. Here we have areas of plane shapes. The area of a given plane shape is the amount of space covered by that shape, just like I explained earlier on. The area is measured in square meters, which we call meter square or centimeter square, as we can see it here. This is a triangle. The formula for calculating the area of a triangle is half base times height, or you can say half times base times height. So you can see different kinds of triangle. This triangle may come this way, or it may come in this form. So the height is the vertical line from the base to the vertex point, as we have it here. This is the height. The base is the bottom of that particular triangle. So the formula is half base times height. Let's look at some other formulas. Then for that of a rectangle, the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is length times width. We are all familiar with this one, length times width. Then the formula for calculating the perimeter of a square is length squared. That's length squared, which means length times length. Then the formula for calculating the perimeter, sorry, not perimeter this time around, the area of a trapezium. The area of a trapezium, the formula, it has 2 bases, the base A and base B. Alright, so and one height here. So for us to determine the area of a trapezium, the formula is half bracket A plus B bracket close times the height. So this is the formula for calculating the area of trapezium. Now let's quickly move to the next other ones. The formula for calculating the area of parallelogram. Area of parallelogram, that is base times height. You can see the base here. You see the height here, so base times height. You multiply out the base and the height, that gives you the perimeter, the area of parallelogram. Then area of a circle, which is pi r squared, it is a popular one. Then area of a semicircle, just like I said in the other one, since the area of a complete circle is pi r squared, then the area of a semicircle will be half pi r squared. You may not need this one at this moment because you'll be using this to perform calculation in GS3, but you need to know this because it's part of the circle which we discussed previously. So this is a sector. The formula for calculating the area of a sector, because sector is the space and that's bounded by the two radii, not just two radii, and also an arc. Okay, so that is what we call a sector. This is the angle of the sector, and this angle is called what? Theta. We call it theta, where r represent the radius. So this place is the radius, as well as this place can also be called what? A radius. So then we have the theta, which represent the angle of the sector, angle subtended by the sector to the circumference, I mean at the center of the circle. So the area of a sector is theta over 360 times pi r squared. That is the formula. Just know the formula, but you are going to make use of it when you get to JSS3. Now let's look at some examples here. Find the area of the following shapes. Here we have two rectangles. So this particular rectangle, the length is 6 centimeter, the width is 5 centimeter. The length is being given to us as 6 centimeter, width 5 centimeter. So area of a rectangle is length times width. Alright, so you already know this one is quite easy. You just multiply out the two numbers, length 6 times width, which is 5, and 6 times 5 will give us 30 centimeter square. Make sure that whenever you finish calculating, you don't forget to write your unit. So whenever you calculate anything that has to do with area, if it is meter, it is meter cube, I mean a meter square, I mean to say. Then if it is a centimeter, it is centimeter square, just like we have it in this particular one. Then another question here, we have the length as 5.5 meters, and here again we have a 3.2 meters. The length is 5.5 meters, the width is 3.2 meters. So we have the length here and the width here. The formulas remain the same, that's length times width. We multiply out the two numbers. Then the easiest way to do this, you can convert these numbers to fraction. Then at this point you call it 1, then the other number you call it 0. That will now be 55 over 10 as we have it here, times. Then for this one you do the same thing, that will be 32 over 10. In order to get your answer quite easily, you already know how to derive, just like we did in the classroom, on how to get this kind of solve this kind of question without stress. Just multiply out what you have here, in as much as what you have at the denominator is 10 or 100 or 1000, in as much as 1 and zeros. Alright, so we multiply out 55 times 32 will give us 1760, divided by 10 times 10 will give us 100. 0 will cancel out what? 0. Then what are we left with here? 176 over 10. So you can drive with this your 0 towards the next number going back. So therefore what you will now have is 17 point, because your point will be at the place where the 0 stops. That's 17.6. So we have the answer as 17.6 meter squared. That is the answer to that particular one. Now let's move to the next one. Here we have a square. Remember, a square, all sides are equal. All sides are equal. Alright, so and we're being given the length as 4 meters. The length as 4 meters, and the area of a square, the formula is length squared. Length squared, which means length times length. So for the area of a square where the length is given as 4, area equal to, in place of the length, 4, and that length is squared. You square your 4 as well, which means 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 will give us 16 meter squared. Then the last one of it here for triangle. Then triangle, we have the height. You can see the height of the triangle here. Alright, then this is the base of the triangle. Alright, so the length and the height is 6 centimeter and the base is 2 centimeter. And area of a triangle is half times base times height. Now let's substitute the values we have inside this formula. Area, we have our half times what is the base. It doesn't matter how you arrange it, the height can come before the base, because multiplication is commutative. We used to say that it's commutative, because even if you say height times base or base times height, they will give us the same answer. So whichever one you write first, just like I wrote height first here, so we write 6 over 1 times 2 over 1, which is the base. So 2 cancel 2 here. Okay, then we are left with 1 times 6, and 1 times 6 will give us 6 centimeter square. Remember what I said here, you have your half. You can start, I started with this one, that's the height, which is 6 over 1 times then base, which is 2 over 1. Then 2 can divide 2. Somebody may ask, what if you don't want to use 2 to divide this 2? You will still get the same answer. That is to say, you use this 2 to divide 6. And when you say 2 divides 6, that will give us 3. 3 times 2 will still give us that same 6. So we have the answer as 6 centimeter square. Now let's move to another kind of triangle here. So we have the height as 5 centimeter and the base as 8 centimeter. The height 5 centimeter, base 8 centimeter. We are looking for the area, and the area of a triangle is half base times height. We have the half times base. Base is given to us as 8. That's 8 over 1 times the height is given as 5 over 1. So 2 can divide 8. 2 divide itself 1. Then 2 divide 8 will give us what? 4. That will give us 4. So, and we have it as 4 times 5. That will give us 20 centimeter square. You can see it is quite easy to do. Then for circle, 7 centimeter is being given to us as the radius of this circle, because line from the center of the circle to any part of the circumference is called the radius. 7 is given as the radius. So the area of a circle is given as pi r squared. That is the formula. Then area of a square, what is pi? Pi is 22 over 7 times the radius, which is being given to us as 7. So 7 and it's squared because the radius is squared as well. Then we have it as 22 over 7 times. This 7 squared means 7 times 7. Okay, 7 cancel 7. We are left with what? 22 times 7. And 22 times 7 will give us 154 centimeter square as the answer. Let's quickly move to the roundup of this. Let's end it with this before we move to the word problems. Here we have a parallelogram. Remember, the formula for calculating the area of parallelogram is base, as we have base here, times height. Base times height. It's quite easy. So we have the base as 6 centimeter and the height as 4 centimeter. So area of parallelogram, which is base times height, we multiply out the two of them, 6 times 4, that will give us 24 centimeter square. Now the next one is called trapezium. Be very careful with this kind of shape, because sometimes some students make mistake. When they see parallelogram, they call it trapezium. When they see trapezium, they call it parallelogram. So this is what we call the trapezium. The parallelogram has 2 parallel lines on both sides, okay, and has a height here. So whereas we are talking about one particular base because the opposite sides of it are equal, but the opposite side of that of trapezium are not equal. They are never equal. So they are never equal. So therefore you can always use that to distinguish between the two shapes. So this one is called the trapezium. It has 2 bases, base A on top, base B down, and this is the height. Alright, so we have our base A as 6 and base B as 14 and the height as 7. So area of trapezium is half bracket A plus B times height. Then area, let's substitute the value now. We have the half bracket in place of our A, that is 6, plus in place of our B, that is 14, then times in place of the height, that is 7. Alright, so we now have our half times, then 6 plus 14 will give us 20. That means this bracket, removing the bracket will mean times. So 6 plus 14, 20 over 1 times 7 over 1. 2 can actually divide 20. 2 divide itself 1, 2 divide 20 will give us what? 10. So we now have it as 10 times 7. That will give us what? 70 as our answer. That's 70 meter squared. Now let's quickly move to word problems. Let's quickly move to word problems. Word problems on area. The first question here says find the length of a rectangle whose area is 48 meters square and the width is given as 6 meters. In this case, they have given us the width and they have given us the area. They have given us the area, and we're asked to find the length. It's quite easy. Just know what you are asked to find, know the values of the ones that are given, and know the shape in question. And the shape in question here is what? Rectangle. And what are we looking for? The area of a rectangle. That means we have to use the formula for finding the area of a rectangle in solving this. Then the second one says find the height of a triangle whose area is 28 centimeters square and the base is what? 14 centimeter. So the base is given here, and the area of the triangle is as well given here. Alright, so we can find the height of that particular triangle. Now here we are asked to find the length of a square whose area is what? 25 centimeters square. So the area is being given to us, and the shape we are talking about is a square. So we are going to make use of the formula for finding the area of a square. Now let's look at the solution to these questions. Here is the solution number 1. They say we should find the length, whereas the area of the rectangle is given to us as 48 meters squared, and the width is given as 6 meters. So width 6 meters and area 48 meters square, and we are looking for the length. So this is the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle. Alright, you know the reason why we're using the formula for area of a rectangle, because area is being mentioned there, and the shape in question is what? Rectangle. So it's area of a rectangle. So we have the area of a rectangle as length times width. We are being given the area as 48. So in place of the area, we write 48 equal to the length is what we are looking for. So you bring it down times the width is being given to us as 6 meters. Now we can now bring down our 48 is equal to length times 6 will give us 6 lengths. Then dividing both sides by the coefficients of L. What's the coefficients of L here? 6. So 48 divided by 6 is equal to what? 6L divided by 6. And 6 we divide 6. Then length is what we have here. 48 divided by 6 will give us 8 meters as our answer. I hope it's quite clear. Now let's look at the solution to the next one. Number 2, find the height of a triangle whose area is given as 28 centimeters squared. The area is being given to us, and the base is also being given to us. We are looking for the height because they say we should find the height. So the height is what we're looking for. The area is being given to us as this, and the base is given as 14 centimeters. And what method or what formula do we use in this? So we are talking about a triangle. And what is that of a triangle? Area of a triangle. So we have to make use of the formula for finding the area of a triangle. So the formula for finding the area of a triangle is half times base times height. And in the formula, the area is being given to us. In place of the area, we write 28. Then equal to, in place we have our height half here times, in place of the base, what we have as the base? 14. So in place of the base, we write 14 times. The height is what we are looking for. So we write the height. Then we bring down our h. The 28 is equal to half times 14 over 1 is something as 14. Then h over 1. Now 2 can divide 14. 2 divide itself will give us 1. And 2 divide 14, that will give us what? 7. That will give us 7. So what do we have left? We have 28 is equal to 7. As we have it here, 7 times h. And 7 times h will give us 7h. We have it 28, 7 times h, 7h. Then divide both sides by the coefficients of h, which is 7. So when we divide both sides by 7, the 7 will cancel out this other 7. Divide this side also by 7. Yes, so 7 will cancel out 7. We are left with h. Then 28 divided by 7. 28 divided by 7 will give us what? 4 as our answer. So 4 is the answer to this question, 4 centimeters. That's the height of this particular question. Alright, so let's now move to the last one. This is the last question we have for this particular session. Find the length of a square whose area is 25 centimeters square. The area is being given to us here. The area of a square is being given to us as 25 centimeters square. Then the length is as well being given to us. The length is actually what we are looking for. They say we should find the length, and we are being given the area of that square as 25 centimeters square. So which formula do we use? Area. For which shape? Square. So we are using the formula for calculating the area of a square, which is length squared. So the area is being given to us as what? 25. In place of the area, I write 25 equal to the length is being given to us as what? Length squared. Alright, so we are looking for the length. We are not looking for length squared. We are actually looking for the length. So we have to do away with this power 2. So how do we do that? Whenever you have power 2 in this kind of question, you apply square root on both sides. When you apply square root on both sides, what happens here? The square root will cancel out the square. So the square cancel out what? The square root. By the time you get to SS1, you get to know this, or even JS2, when you'll be doing indices. You see how this thing cancel out. So 2 cancel the square root here. That's the square. Cancel the square root. So we are now left with L. then square root of 25 will give us what? 5, because 5 times 5 will give us 25. So that is the solution to this particular one. So at this junction, I want us to end it here. This is just the first unit of our lesson. So we are going to take another unit in a short while. You'll be expecting it in a few minutes. I will be sending the video across. So try to ask questions where you do not understand. You can ask the question through WhatsApp, or maybe when we come to the school, you bring forward whichever one that you are still confused on. But I advise you to watch the video over and over again to be able to understand it much better. So have a nice day. Bye.